Welcome to Typesoul Player Stereotypes. Since the game re-released, my old video on this is kinda outdated, so I wanted to rework it with a ton of new stereotypes. Make sure to subscribe, since only about 20% of the people watching this video right now are actually subscribed. And also I added a new channel membership incentive, so if you want to hear me sing song covers, buy a channel membership for just $5. And also I am currently streaming on Twitch right now as of this video releasing, so come check me out on there. Now let's get into it. So many of you vile creatures fall into this category, undeserving of the power bestowed unto thee and carrying burdens which thou cannot handle. Back in my day, I had to do 175 raids for my mode, and getting Hogyoku fragments and skill boxes was actually hard. You can't call me Unk or Reaconteur just because I said back in my day, so don't say that. But now so many people have True Vasto, True Visor, True Let's Still, and mode. Back when in my day, so many of these people who have it now wouldn't have came close to it because of how bad they are at the game. And I know that because so many of you will pop mode in a 1v1 and still lose when I don't even bother using mine. And it's terribly sad. The average 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 combo that may or may not utilize full combo macros. In the overworld, these guys usually aren't ever a problem because most Hakuda players are beyond terrible and play it because they got dropped by another Hakuda player, so they're just kind of following the trend of what they think is strong because they lost to it. In ranked, it's a mixed bag of infinite combo, crazy mix-up, the best Hakuda players you have ever seen, or the worst players in the entire galaxy. You can usually tell if a Hakuda user is good or build carried by a few things. First of all, do they use Shori? If so, they're terrible. Do they use Gehenna? If so, you might get dropped. Are they using Wind Shunko and Wind Shikai? They're build carried, but you might still lose because that build is stupidly broken as it is. Anyway, most of the Hakuda users are pretty bad, but even when they're bad, they might still win because Hakuda is kind of, just easy to play. At least in 1v1s it is. The Metamancer is usually a Soul Reaper or a Ronkar. You blue pill and reroll spam at least once every couple of updates because your broken meta build gets nerfed. Usually people who follow the meta this strictly are pretty bad at the game, and it's often because they change builds too often to get good at any single build. Right now they're probably Keto or Hakuda, and most of the time these types of players are Soul Reapers. I don't know why. It's probably due to the fact that Soul Reaper is the squishiest faction and needs all the advantage it can get, but man, just stick to a build. And also, quick side note, but why exactly is Keto meta? I have yet to lose a 1v1 to any Keto user in the last year, and maybe my build just counters Keto well. Or maybe all Keto users are just terrible, but 90% of you are on Benihime right now, and the other 10% couldn't get it while trying to spin for it. As a loyalist, you refuse to blue pill and follow metas regardless of how old and outdated your build is. This is actually me. I've been using the same build for my Ronkar since Typesoul released, and even now I refuse to change anything about it. I don't use skill boxes or essences because 1, they're boring and they're kinda just like too strong in my opinion, so they'd make fights boring, and 2, I like my build. I refuse to change it in any way, and in the last year, the only change I've made is subbing out Flash Cut for Stereotypes. I refuse to change my outdated mid build, and I still drop people in ranked, which is why I have a 6.0 win-loss. Because I'm crazy. So most people who are good at their own build and can stick to it like this are usually pretty good players. This is going to be very specific, but Menoscars are one of two people. You're either also kind of like Loyalists, except instead of towards a build, it's just towards being a Menoscar. I don't know why. You got a big ass nose, your mask sucks, you get worse modes, you can't get Vaster, the bitches don't want you, you get no paper, you get no ranked wins, and you have no reason to like Menoscar. And I already know. The Menoscar Loyalists are going to be in my comments after this one. The other people who are Menoscars are people who are new to the game and were told to press Control K while they're Menoses, and they can't get a soul ticket. Because there's no way you would ever choose to be a Menoscar on purpose unless you're in the first category of Menoscars. I refuse to believe you have ever touched rank if you only roll in packs of 3 or more. Gank Specialist would never be caught alone, and if you manage to, I promise you he won't be alone for much longer, so you better kill him fast and log. These types of people usually talk insane trash after winning even though it was a 1v3 or more. A good example of this is the background footage I am currently using right now, which really shows off how terrible these types of players are. As you can see, I'm getting ganked, but the reason is because when I was progressing my Quincy, these guys 1v3'd me. I rejoined on my Ronkar and then started to fight them. The 1v3 quickly turned into a 1v8, but by the time it was a 1v8, I had already killed 4 people 2 times each, and they just kept coming. And then I finally had to pop res, and right when I was about to kill all 8 of them, a raid started, ruining ruining my reverse jumping, but I couldn't let that slide. I had to grip all of them. So in the raid, I proceeded to hunt them down one by one and kill all of them. And one of the Reaconteurs who was ganking me is now on my team in the raid. It's up to the last 4 people, including me. There's one Soul Reaper and Blood Bankai, being one of the guys who jumped me. And there's another Quincy in his Volstern ditch. Neither me or the Reaconteur who jumped me are in mode. Mine wore off and he probably doesn't have it or it's on cooldown. The smart thing to do is to team up with him, then we can win the raid. But instead, I remembered when he jumped me, so I proceeded to kill him and clutch the 2v1 against 2 clearly undeserving mode havers, and I basically single-handedly won the raid. Gank specialists are the worst players in the entire game, and that's why they win. By numbers. But even in times like this, numbers won't matter, because I am so much better than all of the people who I was fighting there. I killed 2 people in mode in a 2v1, I pulled an 8v1 and I already killed like 4 people twice each before even popping mode. You guys suck, that's why you can't run the ones. You don't get paper, and you can't touch me! I would like to believe I also fall into this category. The reverse gank specialist is the opposite of the gank specialist. I love getting jumped. Getting jumped makes me feel alive. Roll up with 10 people, I don't care. Even if you kill me, it won't be before half of you are dead and I've already proved I'm better than you. I am better! The real life equivalent of this, for some of you who don't understand Type Soul, if you're watching this video, is when you're getting jumped and then you get knocked out because some big guy slams you down. But you don't stay down. You open your eyes. You smile. You reach into your back pocket and you pull out the biggest switch they have ever seen, and everyone there is gone in minutes. Cero Metralleta is a Cero with a switch on it, and it is literally my favorite move in the entire game, and popping res to kill 10 people is the best feeling in the world. So for all of you who are gank specialists, just know you feed my adrenaline, and you should maybe try doing the opposite of 1v10ing or 10v1ing, because that's all you guys do because you suck. Usually ranked tryhards aren't actually that good at the game. Most of the time ranked tryhards have fully specced out builds with skill boxes, essences, true variants, the best ones of course, and honestly, most of them are terribly build carried. They're never capable of fighting more than just a 1v1, which is why they're only ever seen in ranked. I lose to players exceedingly more in ranked than in the overworld, and it's because of people like this. To be fair, I only have 9 losses in ranked, and 3 of those 9, so 33%, were me getting flung, but all the people I genuinely lost to were ranked tryhards who only play ranked and basically refuse to fight in the overworld. The builds they use are also usually very specialized for 1v1 fights, which mine isn't, but usually they use Kendo and Hakuda, which tend to be extremely popular among these people because they're the strongest trees for straight up 1v1s. However, they lack versatility, which is why the ranked tryhard will just never be seen in the overworld unless he's, you know, with like 6 other people. This is the ranked try harder, because if you fall into this category, you really need to just try a little bit harder. These are the people in ranked with like a 0.09 win-loss ratio, and I honestly don't know how you can be that bad. The only way I could possibly imagine someone losing this much is if you're playing on a garbage PC, or if you're a soon-to-be mobile player, because how are you this bad at the game without being like physically, or more accurately, hardwarely disabled? Because your PC needs to be terrible for you to lose this much. And a lot of the time, they complain about the build I'm using when they lose, which is funny because 90% of them call me a Hakuda spammer when I'm clearly using a speed build. So I think the part where I said they are physically disabled means more like they are mentally disabled. To call me a Hakuda spammer when I have 45 points in speed. So where is the disconnection in their stupid brains? Background footage is what I call people who call me bad, despite eating fat combos. They're not as bad as the players in the last category, but the reason why these people get used as background footage while the last ones don't is because 1, I don't pity them, and 2, the fights last just long enough to make the background footage entertaining and make it look like they maybe put up somewhat of a threat. The Wretched are just evil people. The Wretched kill progressing players like Reaconteurs doing partial res, meditating Soul Reapers, every Quincy they see below elite grade, white Ashuchas players, and basically every other person their vile soul can kill. These players are usually really bad, like the gank specialists I mentioned earlier who killed my Quincy, and generally they run or avoid higher level or better players because they don't win fights against anyone who's actually halfway decent at the game, which is why they prefer to, you know, kill people who are progressing so they can feel better about their skill issues. You use the CC token as a Quincy to wear thigh highs and stockings. Whether or not it's ironic, I do not care and I do not like you. The other side of this are the people who wear Roblox pajamas for some reason. I don't understand why so many people do this. You belong in Yuabaha's basement. You are disgusting, swamp-ass, having, chair-rotting garbage. And also, all of you just seem to play the most annoying builds you can manage, like speed or keto, and then you spam and run away. Like, oh my god, you're infuriating. But I always still kill you because I'm better than you. There's a lot of dreadheads on Roblox, funnily enough, but these are all the black anime fans who play either Soul Reaper or Reaconteur who have dreads, and probably run either Hakata or Kendo. They're usually not bad at the game, but they're also not great, and about half the time they're also gang specialist frontline players who roll in packs of 6 and would own Hellcats if they had the money. It's not racist, I'm black too. This is a little kid. There are about to be a ton of these, since TypeSoul mobile support is coming very, very soon. Usually they name themselves after a character in the show just to never get the name, you know, so like a lot of you are just named things like Ichigo Shihoin or Ulquiorra Gingerbuck, and lots of you try your hardest to be edgy and act like an anime character in chat and while fighting, but you're not that cool, and you're not that good either, because most of these are generally pretty bad at the game, and just know, little bro, you're not good enough at the game to be considered the Ulk. So don't name yourself Ulquiorra Cypher. As a mode popper, you sit around and wait for people to hit you, and then threaten to pop mode the second anyone does anything. Little did you know, modes aren't threatening anymore because everyone has them, and you're using it way too early anyway, so you're going to get stomped the moment the guy you're fighting gets low on health and uses his. You guys are always pretty bad at the game and kind of just use your mode as a crutch so people don't attack you. But you're not scary. Your mode isn't scary either, because you suck. If you use a support build, you're a great person, despite the fact that you're a femboy. If you play support builds in TypeSoul, you are a selfless and kind individual who I truly have respect for, because even the worst of players often refuse to run support builds, even though they're better off going support, because then they can be more useful. So if you play support, you are a truly kind soul. The spammer is probably someone playing speed or keto, and you kind of just throw all your moves out without thinking. Like, I mean, I understand why, kinda. Like, speed doesn't have combos, and it's the weakest 1v1 tree, but like, just wait until I'm at least close to you to use your moves. Like, come on, you're not even in range for you to hit that, like, Flash Fang. What is the point of you using it? Like, Waterfall Dance has hyper armor, you know you could use it to escape combos and stuff. Mostly spammer type players just don't really know how to play the game, and I kind of feel bad for them. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe and join my Discord and follow me on Twitch where I stream sometimes. I'm probably playing TypeSoul on stream right now. If you couldn't tell by my voice, I am a little bit sick, which is why I sound kind of congested. My voice is a little bit weird because, yeah, I am just a little bit allergy ridden. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you all have an amazing day as usual, because I spread no hate to my fans. I only spread hate to the games that I play. I love you all. Have an amazing day, and goodbye.